All right, good morning. Hey, Daryl says, a new host. Welcome. Yeah, I started in some other internet radio streaming thing and signed a new 4-year contract with SNSN today. So thanks, guys.
Double the
Thanks.
salary.
Yeah.
There you go.
I went from 0 to 0. Thank you,
Good morning.
local community.
This isn't
for
Kansas anymore, as you can say.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how was the trip?
The trip was really, really cool. It was fun. We went for my son's wedding. That's what we did, and it was good. We didn't go there for vacation. We were support staff. It's really what we were. We ended up just doing a lot of running around, but we knew that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So we ended up, with the daily honeydew list.
Cool.
One day hey, can you, the first one, and this is my daughter-in-law now goes, I need you to go to the garage and I need you to look in every box until you find this vase. Oh, okay. So now it was a quest. So I did. I found the vase, and then task 2: go to Walmart, pick up pictures. Which I'm just glad we were there to be able to help them.
Yeah.
I thought that the weather was going to be warmer. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. No.
No hurricanes, tornadoes, twisters, nothing like that. Thank God. That area of the country is known for that stuff. But
yeah. Matter of fact, on the side of the roads, they even have runoffs. For really bad, rainstorms and stuff. But no, we had nothing but sunny skies. It was good.
Good.
I guess it was nice up here too, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Yeah. And I guess we had to play all last week, as you well know. You went Thursday. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I really did. Yeah. I thought all the kids did a really good job, and I know that sounds cliche, but I really think they did.
Yeah.
The ones the characters that stood out to me were not in any. Asher Young, I thought, stole the show.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other nights. I heard she pretty much stole it on Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
But
hey. Yep.
Hey, how are you? How you doing? Good. Ryan Aubin has made it. Gonna turn his camera on. There he is.
Wow, this is an impressive setup, Mike.
Huh?
I've never seen all this.
We just got it.
Yeah, it's only been in like a week or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
A week. It's
2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple weeks.
Share your stuff.
Yeah. So
So Asher Young, I thought she pretty much stole.
She the one who played the hairdresser or something like that?
Paulette.
Yeah.
I thought Sydney Churchill was excellent as Elwoods. I thought she did a great impression. She sounded like Elwoods from the movie, if anybody had seen Legally Blonde. And I remember when they did the little dialogue here. Remember?
Yeah. Yep.
Before, just when she went, "Oh my God,"
yeah.
That sounded just like Elwoods in the movie. So I was really impressed with that. And the kid that played the really smarmy lawyer.
Yeah. That was the first time.
Connor McGrew.
Yeah.
I thought was really, really good.
Oh, he's the senior, right?
Well.
He was the senior that played. That was the first time he played in the play, I guess, right?
Yeah. I thought he did a very good job. And again, I could talk about all the kids.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that actually stuck out to me the most. So.
Yeah. I mean, it was Friday and Saturday. It was packed. I mean, Saturday was a madhouse.
Oh, it's usually the last day of the play.
My family loved it.
Yeah.
My family absolutely loved it. And it's kind of cool to see the youth center staff, and former kids were in the play too.
Who was from the youth center that was in it?
Not
Phil Michelle.
No, unfortunately.
Amelia, we'll be talking about Phil in a bit.
Amelia actually did all the sound, like the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, she's amazing. She really is. But it's cool to see all these kids. You know, at one point we're in middle school and sometimes elementary.
Sure, yeah.
You know, now they're up there, and half of them you don't really recognize until you're like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
You know, this part of the eyes but it's cool. It's such a great program. My daughter wants to go. She's 12. She wants to go to Norwich Tech. Oh, sorry. It's my mom. Sorry, Mom. I'll call
Hi,
you
Mrs.
back.
Aubin. Ryan will call you back right after this.
So she wanted to go to Norwich Tech for hair because my wife cuts hair. She wants to be a hairdresser. She went to the play and she's like, now I want to go, the Grizzled High School to be in the play. So it really has impacts on people.
Yep.
Like you have to think like even the programs for basketball, we are like the beginning of these kids who are now
Absolutely.
in high school. Like it's a feeder program, but the drama program is a feeder program to come to Grizzled High School. Like I don't think that's really understood.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, it's such a great Ray does a great job, and the whole crew there. So
we've talked about also the fact that Grizzled Youth and Family Services and Grizzled Rec, is a feeder program for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like for example, the basketball program.
Yeah.
I've talked about it many times.
Yeah.
Where the kids go from there and through middle school, and then they're playing in high school, and that's one of the reasons why I like to do. I bug you to let me to do the games.
Yeah.
Because it's the start really of a lot of these kids' stories and sports.
Yeah.
That we get to follow right through high school.
Right. And it's special too, because you have, like even like the 3rd, 4th grade, they won the All-Star tournament. It's our first time trying it. So you have to think like, and even summer camp, like summer camp is for all towns. And there's a Norwich family that I always say, because they have 4 kids. They all go to Grizzled High School because they went through summer camp, elementary, to middle. Their friends are here. They played sports together with everything else through football, youth football, which I don't run, but it's a great program. And they're here. They wanted to go to high school because of that. So I think that's kind of the lost information that people don't really think about. That's why, I'm so grateful to have Steve Cravino, because he really supports everything we do.
Yeah.
And the custodial staff is amazing. They support everything we do. And the Board of Ed has really always supported everything we do, because they have an amazing community center there that they open with, open arms, that other towns honestly don't have. They fight Parks and Rec and Board of Ed. They fight in some other towns. I'm not going to say most, but some other towns, to the point that it cripples the rec department, because they have Board of Ed has first rights. So we just have a great relationship here that took years to stem. I've been here for 17 years. It didn't start off all that great, but it really is wonderful now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something.
No. I'm it's good to have Ryan in here and talk about some things, some recent things. So,
like what?
A week ago we had the Board of Finance meeting that we were at, and I guess I'm not on social media, so I guess there's a lot of chatter going on around Facebook about some of the cuts, and some of them affect you. And I guess the question is how does it affect you, and what does that mean for your programs, and how it affects the kids?
So it's really unfortunate, because the cut. So it's $17,040, which brings our assistant to part-time. But the snowball effect of that is on the happy side, Board of Finance funded the new program. So it's 3 programs.
Mm-hmm.
But they cut the person that's supposed to be running the program. So that means who's going to do it. I just won't see my family for a couple of years at least. Hopefully they remember me. But that's what it is. I'm the full timer. So then it falls back on me. But the misunderstanding really came from And you could see, the Board of Finance, the first hearing I went to, it kind of opened up as, you promised at your meeting a year ago that you would double revenues. Now, again, I never, I didn't think at the time, I'm like, I never said that, but the truth is I never did say that. And I really appreciate Scott Davis, because he looked back at the video. It was a misunderstanding. What I said in the video is like, we make $209,000. Imagine if there's two of me, we could probably cover 54,000 for this year, a new revenue.
Got it.
So, but what happened was they thought, okay, you're going to make $400,000 this year, which is like adding 2 more summer camps. It's just impossible.
And more people to run them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because you can't. You can't make money without spending money, right? And our budget is super tight because it's kind of an odd budget. It's very complex because years ago, right now, if I like for youth wrestling, right? I'm just using numbers here that aren't factual, but $6,000 runs youth wrestling, right? I have to put it in my budget as an expense of $6,000, knowing we will meet $6,000 as revenue and probably make as to break even, and then probably make a revenue over that at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, can you give me this now? I promise I'm going to make it back. With 17 years of experience, I've shown that. But it's just really not fair, because if you look at our budget, it's $400,000. But the only expenses we have are, Parks and Rec would be parks, porta potties, things like that. The youth center, right? That's an expense, but we also get grant funding that offsets that expense. But anything for recreation, so if youth basketball pays for itself, summer camp pays for itself. If you go down the line, everything we do, I build in order to pay for itself, to break even, if not more. And the way I do that is if you're going to line up like Hopeville, we want to do a vampire run, which was funded. We're guessing 300 people will be attending. So in the breakdown, I have the cost of the bibs and the shirts and everything. And then there's a true cost of that program. I add 10%, and that's the resident rate. I add 30 to 40%. That's the non-resident rate. So it's very simple. I'm not the genius here, and they all break even. So it's frustrating because it's kind of like there's a glass ceiling above us. You can't go, if we want to do something new, we have to ask for more money, which isn't really fair to taxpayers because we're making the money back. But again, I have to give Scott Davis a lot of credit, because he came to our rec commission meeting last night and he gave us kind of a new point of view. I never really thought about from the other side. And again, it was a misunderstanding. I didn't say that, and that's why they cut it right off the bat. They said, Ryan promised this, he didn't fulfill this. They cut it. The truth is, I never said that, but I guess a number of the board members
who did though.
Nobody. So if you go back in the video, I said the quote about 54,000. We could probably cover that. They, again, the board, or Scott, admittedly himself thought it was, the understanding, I'm going to make all this money for the town.
Right.
In the same meeting, I also said exactly what we're doing now, which we're going to create programming outside the youth center, because the youth center is maxed out. We have to do programming outside, and thank God we have a school that's so willing to do that. We did high school programs with Erin. We used Erin's principal of the high school, her advice on what we should do, like library tutoring they're doing now. But the reality of this, and the sad part, is all the programming we have scheduled for this year, so before July 1st, it's kind of in limbo now, because like this is supposed to roll over. So why are we going to start something we can't do? And then all the programming after July 1st is definitely without a doubt cut, and that includes after school, in the school for all the ages, travel basketball, because like even travel basketball, that's Phil's baby. Like he was there. He was at the games. I cover in-house. He covers travel. Like we want to do a STEM program with 4-H. Like Phil was being trained on how to do that. working with, our group, outside the youth center, but also homeschool. We're going to offer something in the morning and something in the evening during his times, but that's all cut.
Do you feel like it was perceived?
So I just want to clarify. So Scott must have told you last night at some point that this is all proposed cuts, right? This is not set in stone.
Right.
So this can be talked about. We got a hearing next week.
Yeah.
You can bring your case to them. I think part of the issue was, and I had an issue with it too, was that they were, and I think it kind of surprised people last week that they started making these cuts, and not everybody that was being affected was in the room.
Yeah.
You were not in the room to be able to say, so if you cut this is what's going to be the impact, right? Which I would expect he knows now from the meeting last night.
Yeah. And Tina too said the same thing. She's like, you need to be in the room. And I just had a family commitment. So I couldn't be, but like, you're right. Scott did say, the town meeting coming up, just rally support. So if you want to support us, please come and say something. But again, it's not written, in stone yet. I'm just hoping, because we have two options that we put forward to Scott to kind of like feel out what he thinks, honestly. And the first option, the first option is right now they funded our van. So our big green, the big rec van we have, it's very old. It used to be animal control van years before us. I mean, there's chains in the back. It doesn't look great if you open up the back door and there's dog chains. But we use it for cargo, like
or unruly kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let that get out there. But we have for all events, we stock that thing. We use it all the time. Mm-hmm. That's why you see it everywhere. It's great marketing too, because Camaro Signs did all the graphics for us. So that thing it's slowly, so in my capital improvement, I put on the table, within the next 3 years, could we think about replacing this van? So that was on the table for $35,000. So our option one is, and we hope the Board of Finance really supports this, is we'll switch that out. If you can keep Phil on, our assistant on for a full time for 1 year to actually prove what we can do. Because again,
so are you saying that I got to jump in before Wayne jumps in?
Absolutely,
Just say, "Shut up, Wayne. I'm going to talk now."
I tried. I had 4 words out. You just jump right over it. You almost feel like that you didn't get a chance to prove yourself.
Oh yeah, Phil only had 6.5 months to do programming because summer camp. Right, he's the second director, so he in his first, July 1st is your fiscal year. Summer camp was the first 6 weeks of that. So he never even got into his office, for 6 weeks. And then you have to sit down and you have to meet with Aaron, and we met with the schools just saying, what do you need? That takes time, and then we want to develop it. And then our first program came out in November. So yeah, we didn't get a fair shake at it, to tell you the truth. So what we're looking for in our other plan is Plan B, which I won't get into because on it, what Scott said, and it makes sense to me.
Was it part of the public meeting?
It was the public. What was that?
Plan B, was that part of the?
I gave it to the
Or else, can you not talk about it because it's?
Oh no, meeting? I can talk about it.
All right.
So at my budget hearing, I offered. Well, first of all, we gave 3 pages of brand new programming. That from what I gathered from last night's meeting, some of the board members even think that's not enough of new to actually support Phil's. So that scares me because I'm like, if we bring 3 pages of brand new programming, that's not enough. I don't know what we can do, but that said, if you
they come down there and see your programming, what you actually do and what it takes to get it done.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
probably
understood.
Not. No, I don't. Yeah. I'm seeing some of that, not the, well, yeah, they even question what the fire department does. Some of them, it's like, so what do you do? So you're not the only department that's got to justify.
Die.
Yeah. No, it's not going to die. Yeah. But the thing is what gets me. I mean, when I came and visited you, talked to you about, you said you're the first person I've seen in years come down here and talk to me about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that bothers me that we've got people making decisions on assumptions when they don't really look at what's going on.
No,
to understand what it takes to run these programs.
Scott Davis is very hands-on. I've always, he's.
Well,
always,
I'm not calling Scott out.
I'm not.
I'm not calling Scott's
Scott
at least
out.
trying. Scott's been emailing with me to try to see what we can do to resolve.
When's
some
the
of
last
these
time you
issues.
saw Board of Finance member Gary at the fire department, wondering what's going on here?
Yeah, what do these guys actually do? So, but yeah, you're not the only one struggling with this. But what bothers me is that people make these assumptions that we're not getting our bang for our buck for Phil or whatever like that. But yet you're counting on Phil to be here, so you're building more programs,
right?
Because he's supposed to be there full time.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to understand. I never promised revenues because realistically, I can't. I can promise opportunity of new programming because now I have a person, which means more time, so I can add a second shift. That's what we did, and it's funny because if you go back to that meeting, it's exactly what I said in the meeting is what we did the first 6 months. So what I guess we're asking the Board of Finance to consider is swapping out the van, $2,000 to be cut from town events. And that would be the wash, for the year, and give us a year to actually do what we want to do. But Scott, and what Scott really helped with last night is understanding like the plan B, which I did give at my hearing as an audible, because I saw the writing on the wall with $3 million increase. And I'm like, we're going to get cut. Like without a doubt, we're done. So I offered them a plan that other recreation departments do, where basically all the revenues go into this glob of money and all the expenses for new programs come out of that revenue. So you actually cut your own budget and you're creating new programs off the money you make. And what's the perspective Scott gave me that I really, I didn't understand at the time, but I do now, was that it was given to them at the last second, which is, again, it was an audible, but they probably would want to learn about this more. So he suggested, starting in summer, start coming to Board of Finance meetings and actually go month to month. These are my revenues in. If we did this next year, this would pay for this, this would pay for this, and actually show them in real time how this works throughout one fiscal year, which is very easy to do. And we're very lucky to have Eric, our finance director in the finance department.
Who are we not lucky to have?
I know. Well,
so there's got to be someone that you just want to kick right in the nostril.
I love everybody.
You're baloney. There's got to be somebody.
So during budget season, everybody loves everybody. Yeah. Okay, that's part of the game. I think it's the same thing.
I could safely say everybody in the town hall I love and adore. But with that said,
that is not true.
So the finance director and the department for the recreation funds, they label everything. So if you had a question, they can print out a sheet called a detail, and it says youth basketball sponsor, SNSN, $100. And it's very easy to track. So if we can go month to month with the Board of Finance, and again, this is up to the Board of Finance to actually give us this opportunity, and they see in a full year what we can really do this, if not do more, because now you can create new programming without asking for taxpayers' money to do it. You just have a fund that you now see what it is. And the good thing about our situation is I work so closely with Eric. So Eric, the finance director, sorry. If I have a new program, he's not a pushover. He'll tell me, no, that's not going to work. And then I'll go back and rethink it and then retool it. And then if it does work, he gives me the green light. But we don't work in a vacuum. We work with Eric because honestly, I respect him. I mean, the guy has years of experience, but we're always learning something new too. So I kind of rub, iron sharpens iron, right? You're trying to rub off and help get information from other people. So, but we're hoping the Board of Finance considers that, and that's what the meeting's about, the town meeting. That we're, Scott really encouraged us to tell people, get out there and say something. How does this affect you? Mm-hmm. And the irony of this, so Phil's job, the assistant job is on the line. He can't attend the meeting because he's running adult basketball. And if they do it at the middle school, it's going to be right down the hallway. So the irony is a program that he actually runs, he can't attend the meeting to fight for himself because he has to go to the meeting. He has to go to the game to do scorekeeping and all that stuff and make sure everything's in line. So we will try to swap out. So if you see me disappear, that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully Phil can come in and say a few words too. But
today?
No, I mean at the town meeting on the
30th. I don't see Phil.
Oh yeah, no, at the town meeting on the 30th.
No, he'll show up part-time. No, but I met Phil. He seems like a nice guy. He looks like he enjoys what he does. He's on, looks like he's on top of stuff. And how much did you say that they were cutting because he was part-time?
Before you do that, we got to do something else.
And what are we going to do now?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, let's do something else.
We got to get a couple of comments, and then we got to hit some sponsors.
Oh God. Right. He's got to pay bills.
You found the chicken. Victoria says, towns want to complain about kids roaming around with nothing to do, but they want to cut programs that actually give kids something to do, make it make sense.
That's a really good point.
And Sandra, just because I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Veloce. Veloce.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know if it was Veloce. Veloce. Because I live in Canterbury and see everything you guys offer, meaning you, Ryan, and Youth and Services, offer the schools/youth, and wish I lived in Griswold. Didn't sell your house.
Thank you for that.
I think really the people wanting to cut your budget needs to shadow you guys for a week or more, which is kind of what we had said. You had said, I didn't see, how many Board of Finance members do you see?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's a really good point.
The other thing is, though, and this was a point that got me kicked out of America's group, Griswold now.
One of the groups he got kicked out of. It's a constant thing with him.
What was that? What people, I think, forget, and I know I do too, is that we go to these meetings and we hear the boards and all say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, or we're going to propose this. I think as residents, we forget that these are proposals.
Yeah.
They're not, they don't have Scott Davis sitting there going, I am the law, and this is the way this is enacted because we go vote.
Yeah.
We vote. They're going to present a budget that they craft.
Yeah.
And that us as residents go vote on it.
Right.
If we don't vote on it, then that's on us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've had conversations off air, all three of us, saying, if there's something that you don't want or you do want, you have to exercise your view.
Yeah.
And that's by voting. And if you don't vote, then you really don't have a lot to say.
True.
Right.
Because you'll get people, I didn't vote, but, and then they're yapping on Griswold now.
Right.
Because that's allowed.
Yeah.
Unless your name's Menards.
Well, they have, and you have to think years ago, like summer camp was going to get cut. Like it's like 11, 12 years ago. It was going to be cut back. And because of the audience and the supporters coming out to a meeting, they changed it around. Yeah. So again, I don't think, and again, it's not a knock on the Board of Finance, but there's a lot of new faces there. And I don't really think they know what we do. They think we run a youth center. They don't understand, we run major events. We don't, we run everything you can think of across the board, whether it's a marathon to, bringing the kids. They're going to skating this week on Saturday after they do the cleanup day. It's really a lot that we do. That's what I'm trying to get out there, I guess. And I think that would be beneficial if everybody knew. Job shadowing would be a wonderful idea.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. As you can see, I've been kind of cascading different businesses on the screen right now. These are the businesses that support what we do and trying to get information to you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Uncle Cranky's. I love that place.
I do too. They've got these new wings. Well, I don't know if they're new, but they have this dry rub, this buffalo dry rub that is amazing.
They got new flavors there.
Huh?
They got new flavors.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a quick break and come back and speak more about Griswold Youth and Family Services. We'll get to some more comments. If you have any comments, put them in the chat room, and if you have any questions for Ryan, we'll certainly get to those as well as much as we can. This broadcast brought to you by the all-knowing, all-seeing Grizzled Now. They have a whole new rules section on Grizzled Now. It's amazing.
He doesn't want to get back on.
Rule number 1: love Carl.
Yeah.
The king is here. I mean,
it's safe to say I love Carl. He helped.
You can. You can.
Yeah.
Okay, get out.
Sorry,
Mike and I don't have to love everybody.
Yeah,
maybe you do, but we don't have to love everybody.
Rule number 2: learn the King's Credo. The Grizzled Now Credo. I'm the boss, the only boss. Screw you. So that's the.
It's good to be king.
It's good to be king. Because I've heard a lot of things lately. Like my friend Lisa sends me that. I'm like, this is hilarious. And it's like, first of all, Sporto, it doesn't bother me. I think it's hilarious. But
I don't know.
All hail, because you'll have your lackey looking at this anyway. So. Well, that's another Phil.
That's a Phil. Yeah,
that's a different Phil.
They're always good to us, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your creed.
Kissing ass.
No, they really are. They share our stuff, and I haven't asked. But you guys do too. So
I know.
Again, I love everybody, right?
Oh my God. Be back in a minute here on SNSN.
You buy better at Burns. You buy better. New year, same problem. These insurance prices always seem to be on the rise. Is it simply the company you're with, or is there more you can be doing to manage your insurance cost? Call the Burns Agency today and let our qualified staff walk you through coverage options, eligible discounts, and other cost savings. You can reach us at burnsagency.com, by phone, or better yet, stop by our convenient locations in Norwich and Dayville. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Jewett City Savings Bank's commitment to helping local businesses fuel growth was recognized by the Small Business Administration and readers of the Commercial Record. We invite you to put our winning commercial lending team to work for your business. Because when local businesses succeed, we all win. To learn more, visit jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Visit the dentist. In a word, yes, especially if that dentist is Dr. Katzoff and the staff at Griswold Dental Associates. They follow all the latest safety protocols while doing what they do best, taking care of you. From preventive to restorative, your dental care couldn't be in better hands. To schedule your appointment, call Griswold Dental Associates today, 860-376-2626. That's 860-376-2626.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Yeah, no, that's actually there was Grizzled Now that sponsored that.
Grizzled Now sponsored this.
No. Whoopsie.
Oh, Pride.
No.
Grizzled Pride?
No, Grizzled Pride. I'm so sorry.
That makes sense.
Oh, my God. I'm going to lose that
sponsored Minarski's Freedom of Speech. That's what Griswold Now sponsored.
Speaking of people I love, Miranda Nagel. Absolutely adore her. She's amazing.
I can say whatever I want because I'm not on any of those freaking pages. So I don't have to love everybody.
Let's see. All right. So I'm going to get to some comments here. Cindy says, how can those that may work second shift and can't go to the town meetings have their voices heard on the issue?
That's a really good question. I would write a letter to the first selectman or to give to the Board of Finance.
Or why not just write it and then copy it?
What's that?
Send a copy to the Board of Finance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, because I don't know if Scott, if Scott's email's out there. I know for selectmen's is, so I don't know if that's the avenue to go through.
Victoria just said the same thing. You can submit a letter, even by email, to the Board of Finance and ask that it be read into the record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good morning, AA Ron. What's going on? Laura says, I saw that there was a petition that was started online, and I was curious if that was something that was going to be presented at the town meeting.
So the petition we did to get the word out, that's basically it, because it's basically what we're going to ask for at the town meeting for the Board of Finance. I think, so when it comes to local government politics, it's really important to show your support, because again, they may not know what we like, the reach we have, not like reach for support, but what we do, like people that we affect. So we did, like, the idea of the petition was, from the rec commission, that we're like, well, how do we make it very understood that people really care, So that's why we did the petition. And the idea of the petition is just to show, and it's not, something to wave at the Board of Finance, saying, support us. We just want them to understand, like, it's not just 43 kids that go to the youth center, right? It's like hundreds. Like, we have 900 that we served, and, thank God for Phil, assistant, because he wrote this Excel formula that figured out our unique amount of kids that use our programs versus like who uses it. I mean, he's amazing. But like things like that, even a number on a paper, and it's very clear at that Board of Finance meeting, really didn't make an impact. So I'm like, how do you make an impact? Well, real people. Let real people actually be part of the conversation. And we're very supported by the community, which is amazing. Which is why we grew from a little place at the flea market to where we are now, So it's because of the people. So,
yeah. Well, I think when they had the meeting last week and they made all the proposed cuts and everything like that, and they made the vote of, they had like 2 more meetings scheduled, and they basically canceled both of them. I really think they should have had at least one of them for people to digest what had just happened, so they could come up with some solutions to bring to the next meeting. And maybe you were able to come and talk about all these, issues you brought up today, so that they could digest all that. There's another thing that we're doing behind the scenes, and I've been talking to Scott, talked to Eric about what we can do with the $600,000 that they took out last year, and why we have to pay it back. I'm trying to understand, and so are a few other people trying to understand. There's been some Facebook chatter about it. Because if we don't have to pay the $600,000 back, because we're right near the upper limit anyway of our, emergency fund or general fund, whatever you want to call it, surplus.
Yeah, we have a really good rating.
It's like, it'll minimize the impact to the taxpayer, and it'll also be able to bring in some smaller cuts that they've done that impacts you and impacts some other programs. So that needs to be discussed. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about. And some of the reasons I'm getting about that $600,000 doesn't make sense to me. I've had communication with Scott, sit down with him, talk so I can understand it.
Yeah.
But there's others that, they're probably smarter than me, saying why are we even bothering? Especially with the electrical rate impact that's coming at us, and how that's going to impact others with fixed budgets and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think they should have had at least one more meeting so that people could come and talk about that weren't there, that got cut like you, to talk about this more. And some other people that were in the room already, but kind of surprised with the cuts, and then come back and, have some more conversation about it.
I mean, I was listening, and I had to shut it off. I was like, did I just hear that right? And I had to go back and look at it later, but I didn't know about those other 2 meetings.
Well, the thing is, when you're sitting in a meeting like that and they make cuts, there's a lot of emotion. Like you said, you were even watching it. There's emotion, right? Mm-hmm. So you really need to sit back. Yeah. And the next day I'm thinking about things. Other people are thinking about things. And we start talking. And then you get rid of the emotion. Then you start looking at solutions. You're looking at facts. And you start asking questions. And that's why I said, well, a week later should have had a meeting so people could come back and say, so why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? To minimize this.
That's a really good point.
Why are we taking the $600,000 and saying we got to pay it back when we really don't need to? Yeah. Right? And add some things that we need as a town to move forward.
And you're right about the emotion part, because even I remember a couple of days later, I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, this affects summer camp. He's our second director. That means I have to now hire 2 less counselors. That's going to eliminate 20 kids per week. That's 140 spots now kids can't take. because I have to hire a new director to be the second director because we're ages 5 to 13 and there's 4 camps. And I'm like, oh crap, that means that affects that. Okay, there's a revenue loss there. But more importantly, there's opportunity taken away from families that can't even join summer camp. And the sad part is too, like Phil, you know how exceptional that guy is.
Absolutely.
He's going to be on early care. So 7 a.m., like you're going to see him for 3.9 hours a day, because that's just what it comes down to. And it's just sad because now it's like, okay, well, what do you do now? So.
And what if Phil has to move on because he can no longer work part-time?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Now you lose him full-time. Now you lose him part-time. Mm-hmm. So that's going to impact even more. So because
the older he gets, he's going to require, luckily he's still in school.
Right.
And
he lives local and
exactly.
And there's a loyalty, like he came up through what we do. Yeah. But the big picture too, and I don't think the Board of Finance understands this, is if you have a part-timer, it's a stepping stone. They're going to leave. So you train somebody, you get them up and running. Oh, everything's great in the program. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I got a job opportunity. And again, I would start over, but who has to start over?
That could happen with any position.
Absolutely.
It could happen in your position.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. So, but the thing is,
the borough of Jewett City may want you.
I don't know about that.
I hear they're expanding.
All right. Sorry, Jolene. My wife's calling me too.
So,
my mom.
Does she not know you're on the show?
I don't know.
Jolene.
Where have you been for an hour? You got to account for your time. Watch this.
Please don't take my man.
That's what she was named after too, and she hates it because Jolene was not a nice person in that song.
No.
No, she was a cheating hussy.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have to rub it in now?
No, not that Jolene Aubin is. No, not at all.
She'll come at you. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I know.
She'll come at you.
Yeah. I'm dead.
Gonna get a spanking. Gonna get a spanking.
No, not a spanking. I get an ass kicking.
Yes. She can punch.
I was just thinking about, maybe I should just have her cut my hair. And I'm like, no.
Just mohawks.
I was going to ask you what she charged.
What's that?
For you, double.
Yeah. Shannon says, Shannon Ozcan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Shannon.
She says, do they not realize that state assistance will increase over summer months because parents cannot work? Mm-hmm. That position is so critical. And she goes on to saying that Phil is amazing and loves, literally that's how she put his job.
Yes.
He is good with kids.
He is dedicated.
Very good with kids.
The idea we work 35 hours is ridiculous. That guy is there all the time.
Wait a minute.
All the time. Yep.
She related to Phil?
Ozcan? No.
Okay, all right. I was thinking of something else.
No.
Never mind, someone else. No. Yeah. I know that in business, when you have a new startup, but local startup, they grant you. Nobody grants you anything, but the expectation is 5 years.
Yeah.
Before you're expected to turn a profit.
Right.
If you get that far.
Right. That makes sense.
Right. So when I heard about the cuts, and these are things that like I'll talk, I'll mention to Scott Davis too. And I would like to question some other members of the Board of Finance and have them come on.
Yeah.
As well and say, well, if you're cutting this full-time position down, you're actually losing revenue, correct?
Yeah, you are. And again,
it's proportionate.
It is. It's proportionate. It's actually more you're losing. But like what Scott said, and again, he gave me another perspective of this I never really thought about. It's not really the revenue. It's the program. You're losing the program of benefit. That's the important part.
Yeah, I think
that's what you're looking at.
Well, you're looking at the programs.
Right. You're looking at the total dollar. They're looking at the total dollars.
Yeah.
Right? You're looking at the dollars. You're looking at the programs, which leads to the kids. So what are the kids going to do?
Right.
What do idle kids do? Maybe get in trouble. You know? So you're keeping them busy, keeping them interested, engaged. And like you said, and they move up through the school system in sports or whatever, or,
even adult stuff. We wanted to start pickleball. We can't do that now. We wanted to have a softball team and put them in the Norwich League. Can't have that now. even basketball. I don't know what we're going to do. Again, we have the budget, we have the funding for it. Now we need the time. Guess who's going to be there? So, it's just it's frustrating all because every little thing trickles to another, program that it affects, and kind of some just destroys, kills the program all the way, including the 4-H thing that we wanted to do. But
it's not over. It's not over. These, this is all proposed stuff.
That's true.
People can show up at the meeting next week, and
we're gonna
show up in numbers and support you, and hopefully there'll be other numbers to support some other stuff. That was cut. It's not, and the Board of Finance has a hard job. They got to minimize the impact to the residents. But like I said, I think there's some decisions that can be made to alleviate some of that.
Yeah. And we're I told Tina too, I'm grateful to her too, because at one point the van came up, and originally it was $52,000 when we asked for it in the capital improvement, because again, it was 3 years out. So we're trying to anticipate. And at the time, COVID was happening. Remember, all the cars went through the roof.
Yeah.
But she mentioned at the meeting, well, instead of cutting it, could you bring it down to what the senior center purchased, for their van, $35,000? That saved it. That pretty much saved it. But we're lucky to be in a situation that, okay, we have that as some sort of, I don't want to say leverage, but really the only thing we have to help us, actually get through 1 year, that we would break even, not cost a dime more to everybody else. That's kind of what we're looking for. But what can you do?
Right. Yeah. Shannon goes on to say, my kids really relied on the youth center to engage with other kids in a safe space.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought back, and it's like that played a role in me as a kid, because it wasn't called youth center back then. Or it was called summer rec.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. And
around the tree. You guys meet at the tree?
It was down the Little League field.
Oh, okay.
It was all down the Little League field.
Yep.
Every Thursday there was a trip.
Nice.
First week was always Hopeville. Second week was always Mash Mucket.
Nice.
But there were, my mother would just send me down there. She'd go, okay, go
to camp.
And serious. And I would play all day. It was 9 to 5.
Yep.
But the difference between then and now, we didn't have to pay anything then.
That's true.
But it was a different time.
It was a different time.
Definitely a different time.
And you used to swim at the beach there? Is that part of it? Yep.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it was Ron Anthony that was doing the swim lessons.
Oh, yeah? That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the American Crawl.
That's great. Well, that's the thing. You have to understand. There's so many people that are part of this that were years ago. The youth center used to be in the Slater Library where the children's section is. That's where the original youth center was. So, again, we grow over and over and over. Right. When I went to the youth center personally for 3 or 4 years, I went all high school. It was at the Joe DiMaggio's. It was right to the left of that. And then they moved to a bigger location.
Oh, it's been a metamorphosis.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So, and honestly, without that, I don't know what I would have done, through middle school and, early high school. And
exactly.
But,
me too. I loved it. I loved going. And I thought about this, last week, and I'm like, oh my God, it was just called something different back then, but it was such a part of me.
Yeah.
And as growing up, I always took, part in the program. So how about you, Wayne? Back in the dark ages.
We had a park in the neighborhood, where we, carved granite and stuff like that with our chisels and our hammers. And we learned how to make wheels. Yeah, you're a funny guy, Mike. I wasn't part of a wreck, but we had a park in the neighborhood, and we had our friends, and we'd go down there and, play basketball or whatever. We were lucky. There's not a lot of that anymore where neighborhoods use part of their space as making a park so kids can play, but that's what we had. We didn't have a youth center at the time like that, but
well, there were basketball courts where a couple of the baseball diamonds are now.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of that stuff was.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is that after recreation was done on Friday, it's like, hey, you want to come down and play baseball tomorrow? You want to play football?
Yeah.
You made these friends,
right?
And then you kept them.
Yeah.
And you made them only because you went to these programs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they last a lifetime.
Sandlot ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Even played some football when football season came around.
Yeah. It's an important part. And you have to think too, if you look at Jude City, go back 10, 11 years, it was bad. Like the kids caused a lot of issues. Again, you have these knuckleheads here and there that pop up on the radar. But overall, if you look at the community and the kids that caused issues, a lot of them are kind of gone because over time they all started going to the youth center and now they're supervised. They're not causing issues because they're not idle or bored. And if you look at it now, a lot of those kids, it's quiet around town. They have things here and there, but there's a reason why the youth center is important. And it's kind of like and it's hard to like explain that to like a board, our overall effect on a community. But you see it, I remember the first time we moved in to that location, there was some kid with a knife walking around threatening kids with a knife. Two of the kids knew we moved there. They ran to the youth center and like, there's a kid out there with a knife. We called the police and they took care of it. But like we moved in that day, it was a Tuesday. And I'm like, what would have happened if it was like a week prior? Like, what would you do? So again, we're a huge part of the community and that's just the youth center. But I think the Board of Finance really understands that the youth center is great. We're looking outside the youth center now. We're looking to grow for all ages, and that includes adults.
Yeah, adult basketball, which is 10 teams, hugely successful. But again, it all has to start somewhere, and it all started with a plan that Phil got out of summer camp. Okay, we want to try this, and then that's how it started. But again, he didn't get a full year to even show what we can do. Well, not yet.
It's
not over yet. See, we can't go all doom and gloom yet because
that's true.
Because there's a proposed. I think
it's
to me
is proposed.
The big word is a proposed cut.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean there like if you look at like the Board of Finance side and Scott Davis, they're looking at numbers, to see what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Yep.
What I would do, and what I say means nothing really in the grand scheme of things, but is to have some of the Board of Finance members take some time and just go to view some of these youth programs and some of the programming that is going on, whether it's adult basketball or it's summer camp. Or what you're doing just at the youth center itself.
True.
And maybe the folks that are saying, let's cut this, may say, you know what, this really is needed. And I also think that the bigger issue is not about cutting Phil's position. They're already in the hole with the budget this year. I think it was 1.1 million.
Yeah.
There's already a 1.1 million.
So it's 1.1 mil they started out with.
Yeah.
And then we finished up with about 1.5 million. And that's already borrowing another $150,000 from the surplus.
Yeah.
On top of that.
It's a huge.
So we got to get out of that bad habit of borrowing from the surplus. And that's and right where we're at with the limits and everything like that, I don't think it's necessary to even pay the $600,000 back and then add Phil's position, maybe a couple other things.
But there's different schools of thought here, and I think they have to kind of merge, just to see what the importance is.
Yeah,
right.
It's like okay, we built a field because a lot of people saw what it did, and I think this is the same thing, and we knew the taxes were going to go up.
Yeah,
this is not a secret. This is nothing. And if you thought, if anybody in town thought that your taxes were going to stay flat again, then you're living under a rock because after everything that's, that this town is instituting, that's going on, infrastructure.
Yeah.
These are things 10 years from now, you're going to say, holy shit, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, 5 years ago, we voted for a senior center. We voted for the gas project at the school that was done, paid for. Senior center we're still paying for. The multi-purpose field we just put in last year.
But look at the look at the exponential growth that the senior center has already just in memberships.
Yeah, nighttime programming.
Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't need to be done. Looking at the old building and the room that they had down there, and right now its purpose is being used, very thoughtfully, as the Soul Street School.
Sometimes you got to suck it up, Sally,
and you do have to do things. I mean, people are complaining about the roads. They cut $30,000 out of the budget for the roads.
Yeah.
And they're doing some work in the borough here, but we're falling behind on some of these things.
How many more adult basketball games?
4.
Okay. I would like to invite Gail Rook Norman to be my date one night to a basketball game and just to see what this does. Sorry, just throwing it out there, Gail.
And Gary.
And Gary.
And Tom Pulaski.
And these are people that I have nothing against.
Some of the other
I really don't. I would. I think sometimes you got to see what happens on the other side, instead of what's just going on with the pencil.
Right. And I wish I knew these people too. Like all I know is
I don't know Gary. I've never met him.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I teach business communication at Three Rivers, and I had my students watch the meeting they had feedback, but they're basically like, wow, some members don't really like you very much, do you? And I had to explain, well, that's what it is.
I don't think it's a personal thing.
Not a personal thing.
It's more like they're just trying to figure out what they can do to protect the residents.
Right.
That's their job.
Let me read a couple more comments here. Did I read Laura's last comment? Youth programs are essential for youth mental health. Staying engaged and social in a safe place make a huge difference for a lot of kids that would otherwise be left on their own.
Wow.
Tim Hirschberger. Hey, Tim. Says, hang around with good people and good things happen.
That's right.
And then Tammy Dudek, the mother of our latest drama star in town. The kids are the ones that are affected. We need our fellow parents and neighbors to step up for this program. Ryan does so much, kiss ass, more than people are aware of, and so does Phil.
Yeah,
it is time to step up and call, email, stop in whatever we need to do to have our voices heard.
Mm-hmm.
And Lori Sorter, hey Lori, good morning. Ain't seen you in a minute, as they say at the rec center. Little lingo there.
There you go.
Because I don't think we aren't paying back the $600K to the surplus because we supplemented last year's budget with $600K from surplus over to offer a zero increase. That's correct.
Correct.
This year we find ourselves in a $600K deficit just to break. Actually, it's 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
I think with other. I think
but I'm having discussions, and we're at 18.1 something percent with a limit of 19%. Mm-hmm. We're right, and you need a little breathing room in case we do bring some revenue in, right? Mm-hmm. But we're right at that limit. I don't think it's necessary to pay that back at this moment with everything else that we got to keep moving on with.
Yeah.
So, just to give you an idea, we're these conversations here are going to continue,
right?
Yeah.
So, we're going to have Scott Davis on,
right,
real soon.
I'm sorry for bumping him today.
No, you didn't bump him.
Okay,
somebody
Somebody
didn't listen.
Yeah.
So you were first, and then he went and asked Scott about it. But next week, if Scott can show up,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Scott's a really good dude.
Yeah, and he's always been extremely flexible.
Oh yeah, he'll come in even when he doesn't have to. He'll come in.
Yeah,
I mean that's just his character.
I just I think he's he's a great board of finance chair.
He is.
Because he just comes, it's like, this is the way it is, but he says it in a way you can tell he was a cop because he's very diplomatic the way he does it, but he gets his point across.
Yeah. So, I mean, just behind the curtain too, I reached out to him early in this and he told me come prepared with this. He supplied me a list. This is what we need to know. He could have said, oh, good luck. But no, he said, no, this is what we need, so he didn't have to do that.
He's not shutting the door.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
And now I mentioned, of course, Scott Davis, but guess who else we're going to have on in the next week or so?
Well, you better tell me now.
Yeah. There you go.
This is the communication.
I'm supposed to be the program director. I've been fired 10 times already.
8.
Okay. Soon to be 9.
Former Board of Finance Chair Alexander Greslak.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well,
we're going to bring him on too. We're going to talk about. He wants to defend the 600,000. That they moved. To balance the budget. He says he stands by it, and he wants to tell us why. So I said, "Yeah, you're more than welcome." I told him, I said, "We'll catch up when I get back from Kansas." So I'm going to reach out to him today.
Nice.
There's been some talk on Facebook about that between him and another individual, and it'd be good to get that clarified.
Yeah,
and then I can ask him, why do we have to pay it back? Which I don't think he's been actually saying that the whole deal was not to pay it back because of where we sit at the 18 point something %.
So that's why we do this show, so that we can kind of bring all sides to the table and say, okay, here, because otherwise people, for the most part, aren't going to hear, these views. So
makes sense.
Is there anything else you want to bring to our attention before we say goodbye for today?
Well, we have a community yard sale. Not to digress.
No. Bring it.
It's coming up in May, so I want to make sure I have my dates right.
18th?
May 15th.
Okay.
And then if you want to sign up, I think there's like 20 spots left. But the cool thing is the middle school is coming out and doing guest performances, and Susanna and All Paws are going to be there with a adoption sale for dogs, which is awesome. And then you have a couple live bands. So it's a great, again, it's small town community event, and it's on a Sunday because it's the same as the flea market. So it's, crossover traffic. June 15th and a day before and day after.
What'd you say that was? May 5th?
May 15th. Oh, no, May 19th. Sorry.
May 19th.
Yeah, sorry.
15th is like a Wednesday or something.
Yeah. Wow, good memory.
May 19th.
That's impressive.
Oh, I got to look ahead for the freaking program.
I
got to get my straight.
You said what? May what? 18th is what?
May 19th is his yard sale thing.
What did you say? May 15th was a
Wednesday.
Wow,
it's pretty good.
That's scary, dude. Yeah. How do you know that?
Because the 14th and the 16th, I'm going to be somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. I'm like, wow. All right, I'm thinking maybe you're like really special.
Like, teach me.
But I was trying to impress you. So I'm looking ahead.
Instead of Rain Man, he's Wayne Man. Yeah. Nursing sucks. Yeah.
So you have that event, and then the 19th, June 19th.
I love Grizzle.
June 15th.
Love Grizzle now.
June 15th.
June 15th, fireworks. Heroes Day.
Heroes Day. Yeah.
Honoring first responders because they deserve it, and the carnival's coming.
What do they do?
Yeah.
I wonder what they do. Well, we save your freaking lives
and protect your property. There you go. Okay.
Hold on.
Who's that?
Hi, is this Budget Rent-A-Car?
It is. How are you?
Great. I'm doing a radio show right now. What's going on?
Oh, no. We just had you returning on the 22nd at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just needed to know if you needed to extend.
3 in the morning.
Do I need to what?
Extend the rental?
I brought it back.
Oh, okay. Do you know the date and time that it was returned?
Yeah, we brought it back last night at 2:30 in the morning. We were told to park it because y'all don't have anything that says budget there. So in Kansas City, so the attendant said here, because we went into the Avis lot. Okay, and said park it right in the handicap spot. Yeah. And I said, okay.
It's got 6 tickets on it.
Yeah, it's got 6 tickets on it. We really are doing a radio show, so.
So. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that. We'll just follow up with Avis, just get the closeout information, and we'll get it closed for you.
Yeah, but I don't want to be charged another day. The thing's been there.
Sure, I completely understand. We just need to confirm it's over there, and we'll get it closed out for you.
Y'all didn't know my car that I brought back was there, really?
No.
Well, here we're separate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's frightening because I could have drove that car back to Connecticut and nobody never would have known.
Oh, good. Yep. Well, we'll go look for that car and get it closed out and get your receipt sent over.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was way more interesting.
Wow, they don't even know that I returned the flipping car.
Here comes the rental police.
That's crazy. Well,
throwing the
did
cuffs
you
on
need
Mike.
to extend it? Extend what? I'm back in Connecticut, folks.
I can't return the car.
Well,
oh my God.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, Yeah, fireworks. It's your night.
Fireworks, Heroes Day.
Yeah, Heroes Day.
Yeah, no, we drove it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
As a matter of fact, you got the carnival going on that time too, right?
Yep, 3-day carnival. A lot going on.
Are you doing wrestling this year?
No, I have no budget. No. So our town no, not because of this. That just sounds so passive aggressive. Not because of this. It was actually because we're done with our budget this year. So.
What about a paid event?
Then you have to worry about. I mean, if you had them put all the responsibility on them to get the fencing and security, sure, you could do that. But we're thinking about other things right now.
Gotcha.
So that's a good idea. Other than that, summer camp is enrolling. You have summer programming in June. That's brand new. There's contractual programs. Athletes of the Future, which is ages 10 to 18, starts this Saturday. It'll be at 12 to 1. It's agility and coordination courses for athletic kids who want to jump in. And then you have Skyhawk tournaments, Skyhawk programs, and Hoop Academy basketball coming up, and the Wolverine basketball program.
Gotcha.
All this stuff is in June. Summer camp starts July 1st. It's going to sell out. Please go sign up soon. And now we're probably going to be working with 20 less spots as the budget goes through. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I guess it's just, got to get as much information as you can out there.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to what? The residents voting.
Yeah, we need
really what it comes down to.
Even Scott said it. We need their voices there. Because, again, I can talk all I want, but it's not me. It's the bigger picture. So if you leave Phil's salary in and Phil, I just say, or Phil, because that's who has the position. Yeah.
What does it actually do to the budget? I mean, the mill rate.
The mill rate goes up so you have contractual terms, and then what we ask for new programming. Remember the balloon thing that I have to ask for expenses in order to make the program, which just doesn't make sense. It's $25,000 more for mine, like my department.
Okay.
So, and I could be off. If not, it's around that.
So really are you saying that it doesn't really affect a lot?
It does in the big picture of the budget. No. Okay. But I mean, what I really hope the Board of Finance could do, and they've done this years ago, I don't know when they haven't, give us a percentage. Say, okay, Ryan, you need to cut $25,000 from your budget. Figure it out. I mean, that would be the best course of action.
That's what they do with the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cut the school $385,000. Okay, figure it out.
Yeah. And I think, I know they have line item control as a board, but in the past, they used to tell us, okay, we need to cut 2% every budget. I mean, Kevin was here, Skolchek. It was, okay, you need to cut 3%. Find it. Come back with a budget. Yeah. And that's where and
that was first term Skolchek.
Right. Yeah, first term Skolchek.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So, it was a great idea, but I hope if the Board of Finance is like, okay, you need to be a flat increase, you're up 25,000. Again, it's not a factual number. It's an exact number you can look up.
Right.
But cut 25 grand from your budget. Figure out where you can do that. That's more reasonable. And I can, it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to think about this. Maybe wake up in the middle of the night again and figure out, oh crap, I have to do this. But again, it's just, instead of saying, okay, no Phil, you don't have a chance to grow your department ever again. Like that's what they're saying with cutting Phil's position on the part-time, because it's back to what we used to do. Phil would just be at the youth center. That would be his job for 3.9 hours a day. So everything above that gone. I'm tapped out. I'm not going to be creating new programs for me to run to. And it looks like now I'm going to be running to his programs because it's not in the budget. So
Proposed.
Yeah.
Proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't go all, woe is me.
Right.
Because we don't know yet.
Yep.
But I think it's important that you tell people what's going on so they can formulate their own decision on how they want to vote.
Right.
Right.
And the reality of this cut, it did hurt our budget. It cut us at the knees on everything. So that's the reality from my perspective.
All right. So I'm sure we'll hopefully we'll have you in again before this all goes down.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like the Warriors. Remember that movie? Warriors and clinking the bottles together, come out and play. Yeah. And you got Scott Davis, in leather and chains and a baseball bat, Then you start going into a West Side Story dance.
I can't dance. Mike,
neither can I.
Sorry.
I wonder if Scott can. I bet he can. I bet he can cut a rug.
Cut a rug. I just thought that too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, cut a rug. Yeah, but
maybe we'll ask him next Tuesday. Show us some moves.
Show us some
moves, Scott.
All right, tomorrow. I have no idea what's going on. It's Wednesday. See, I'm just trying to get my feet.
Wednesday, you're not in Kansas anymore, like I said before. Get back home.
So Wednesday, I still have swim though.
Wednesday, you have swim.
Oh, I don't know if I have swim because Benny's not feeling good.
So
I'll let you know later.
Let me know. Well, you know what we're doing. I was planning on taking the day off.
Well, you can.
You've been whipping me like a slave boy, you know, just every day. Coming in here, I have to come up with some stuff to talk about. You know,
I know.
Good thing I got my buddy here.
He's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you very much. As always, appreciate your time.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Wayne, whatever.
Anyway, that's Kathy's line. Come on.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here today on SN.